In this video, we're going to show how alerts are configured. On the left-hand menu tabs, if you click Alerts, you're provided with a list of the alerts in a tree-type menu organized by department. If you click on a department, the tree expands to reveal the alerts that are available for you to modify for your own use. Here it's important to note the difference between an alert and what we call an alert instance. Because each alert has so many options, they can be configured to be used for so many different things, we have to have multiple instances for each alert. So for example, if I click on items removed from ROs, the tree expands again, and you'll notice 8 different types of alert instances that are underneath this one alert. In this case, pretty straightforward. This instance detects cores removed from ROs. This one's going to detect sublet removed from ROs. This one will detect freight removed from ROs, and so on. But sometimes alert instances exist just because they want to be delivered on a different schedule to different users. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and close my parts tree and open up Office. Look at this check alert. Now here you can see I've got a couple alerts that are both configured to detect any checks written over $5,000. They basically are going to do the same thing, except one of them is configured to look every hour and deliver those results to the controller, because that's the way he wants to know the checks as they're written over $5,000. Whereas the owner of the company wants the exact same information, but he wants it done just once at the end of the day. So he only gets one alert that would have all the same data that the controller got throughout the day, but he only wants it once per day. And then sometimes you have multiple alert instances because the way the alert is configured are just so wildly different from one another. So for example, if I look at this alert for customer changes, notice that the first couple alerts are simply going to, alert instances I should say, are simply going to alert the managers of which customers were put on COD and which customers were taken off of COD. Whereas the fourth one down is designed to let the parts manager know if anyone has changed a price code, a customer price code, I should say, or a routing, a salesperson ID, or a store code. So let's go ahead and take a look at a typical alert configuration. I'll zip up my tree here. An easy one to grasp is the parts gross profit alert. So we'll just go ahead and open up the first alert instance for parts gross profit out of range alert. And it brings up the alert configuration panel for this one particular alert instance. At the top of the page, it's going to tell you the name of the alert. It's also going to tell you the schedule of when the alert runs, the last time it ran, and the next time it will run. Who owns the alert, in other words, who has control over it, and who is going to get any results when the alert runs, and if it finds some results to deliver. So you can see that they have 5 tabs at the top. The first one would be the business parameters. Second one would be the scheduling. Third one will be run options. We'll get to that later. Fourth tab will be the users that are assigned to the alert. And the fifth tab is any discussions, tips or discussion or tips on how to configure the alert. So getting back to this parameters tab, this is where we're going to configure our business parameters. So it's pretty self-explanatory here. We want to be notified anytime a part is sold for less than 11% gross profit or more than 300%. Don't want to be bothered if it's under $10 or if it's over $999,000. Look on parts invoices and ROs, and you can get the idea of there are many options here. We're not going to go through each one of them now. But one thing is worth pointing out is that all of our alerts have these only consider and never consider options. So for example, in this case, we want to avoid this particular stock class, and this is a Donaldson filter stock class. So we've said never consider it because we know there's a rebate program in it, and we're going to get overwhelmed with data, with alerts if we ask for Donaldson filters under 11%. So we've excluded that stock class as well as this particular division. I believe this is bulb and filter division. We also are excluding that. We also don't want to look at these customer numbers because they may be internals, they may be customers that we just know are set up on a very low price. So we're ignoring those customers. So likewise, we could say, hey, I only want to consider the DN stock class, and maybe I would change this parts GP to 5%. In other words, you can completely tweak and refine exactly what you want to see, depending, how you configure these only consider and never consider options. And then the next tab over is the scheduling tab, and this one is going to tell us when the alert will run. Well, we're going to look for these parts that are sold with those parameters every 20 minutes from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on weekdays, so Friday through Monday through Friday, excuse me. But here is where I would change the schedule frequency if I wanted to. If I want to see it run one time only, maybe once a day, once per week on certain days, on specific dates of the month or certain days of the week. We'll skip over options for now, and we'll go to users. Now, users is where we pick who is going to get the results of the alert. The people in the left-hand box are people who are eligible for the alert, but they're not signed up for this alert right now. The people on the right are people who are assigned to the alert. So we can move them from one box to the other by simply clicking one or multiple folks and just clicking the arrow to move them over from one box over to the other box. We can move them back and forth. Now, the people that are eligible for the alert are people that are assigned in the user section to have permissions to look at parts, gross profit, and revenue alerts, of which this alert is part of that group. And here you can kind of get an idea of that the alerts are easy to configure, and the menus are intuitive to use.